6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The morning news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundi Thavam. 3 candidates nominated for the post of the President. The vote will be held today. The Speaker said that he expects the support of all parties representing democracy to successfully complete the parliamentary election. The Indian External Affairs Minister says Sri Lanka is facing a very serious crisis that makes India naturally worried and dismissed. Top priority will be given to public transport in fuel distribution. Suspended postal services to 3 countries resume. In foreign news, Putin visits Iran in rare international trip. And in sports, Barcelona sign Lewandowski for €50 million. 3 nominations have been submitted for the parliamentary election to choose a successor president. The names of acting President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Member of Parliament Dallas Alaperuma and Member of Parliament Anura Kumara Dissanayake were proposed for the post. Acting President Ranil Wickremesinghe's name was proposed by the Leader of the House, Dinesh Gunawardena, for the post of the President, and it was confirmed by Member of Parliament Manusha Nanayakara. The Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana MP Dallas Alaperuma was nominated by Opposition Leader Sajith Premadasa, and Minister Professor JUL confirmed the nomination. The name of the National People's Bar MP Anura Kumara Dissanayake was proposed by MP Vijitha Herath and seconded by MP Harini Amarasuriya. The parliamentary election to choose the new president is scheduled to be held today. The former president had sent his resignation letter to the Speaker last week. Accordingly, the Parliament was summoned on the 16th, and the Secretary General of the Parliament announced to the House that the office of the President has become vacant. Also, he announced that nominations will be accepted from the members of Parliament to fill the vacancy. Speaker Mahindayappa Abeyewardena said that he expects the support of all parties representing democracy to successfully complete the parliamentary election to elect the successor president by the Parliament in accordance with the relevant laws. Respect democracy. During the Parliamentary Affairs Committee held yesterday, the Speaker appreciated the support of all parties given so far to successfully conduct this process of selecting the successor president within the legal framework. Mr. Dhammika Dassanayake, the Secretary General of Parliament, who will be returning officer of the secret vote held, said that before the voting, all the necessary guidelines will be informed to the MPs as per the Election of the President Act No. 2 of 1981. Meanwhile, during the Committee on Parliamentary Affairs, it was decided that the Parliament will meet again on the 27th of July. It was decided to submit the state of emergency proclamation announced by the acting president under the Public Security Act for approval on that day. The Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar told an all-party meeting yesterday that Sri Lanka is facing a very serious crisis that makes India naturally worried and dismissed suggestions about such a situation arising in India. Jaishankar said the reason they took the initiative to request all to join an all-party meeting was this is a very serious crisis, and what they are seeing in Sri Lanka is in many ways an unprecedented situation. He added that it is a matter which pertains to a very close neighbour, and given the near proximity, we naturally worry about the consequences, the spillover it has for us. Jaishankar also said that they have seen some misinformed comparisons in the context of Sri Lanka, wherein some people have asked whether can such a situation happen in India. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A special discussion on matters relating to the distribution of fuel required for public transport was held at the Highways Ministry yesterday. It was discussed to give priority to public transport services at the beginning of the fuel distribution process. Besides, it was decided to provide fuel from the Ceylon Transport Board depots and identified filling stations for buses with route permits. It has also been decided to provide a fuel quota for public transport buses which have route permits in the future. The Postmaster General Ranjit Aryaratne says that the acceptance of postal goods for 4 countries, which was suspended last week, has now been resumed. The Postal Department announced on the 16th of July that it had suspended the acceptance of postal goods to 4 countries due to the restriction of flights to Sri Lanka. However, the Sri Lanka Postal Department says that the operations have now resumed. Accordingly, postal goods to the US The Netherlands and Israel will be accepted hereafter. And with that, we conclude local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Vijayasekara, said the issue of fuel to the QR code and according to the last digit of the vehicle's license plate number will be tested at several locations in Colombo from the 21st of July to the 24th of July. The minister further said the program will be implemented nationwide from Monday the 25th of July after the pilot project conducted in multiple locations in Colombo. According to the minister, as of 4 p.m. yesterday, 2 million people have registered and been issued the QR codes. The minister also informed that the dates on which fuel can be obtained according to the last digit of the vehicle's number plate have been changed effective from the 21st of July. Accordingly, if the last digit of the vehicle number is 0, 1 and 2, fuel will be issued on Tuesday and Saturday. Vehicles with the number plates ending on 3, 4 and 5 will receive fuel on Thursday and Sunday. And if it is 6, 7, 8 and 9, on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And that came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, the Ministry of Education has announced that although the schools were scheduled to reopen on Thursday, July 22nd, it has been decided to postpone the reopening of schools again due to the fuel shortage in the country. Accordingly, all government and government-approved private schools island-wide will reopen from Monday, the 25th of July, and that came to you in Watchlight. On to a bulletin of world news and making headlines this morning. Putin visits Iran in rare international trip. Records fall as extreme heat bakes Western Europe. And Australia's environment in shocking decline, report finds. Russian President Vladimir Putin met Turkish and Iranian leaders in Tehran on Tuesday, only his second foreign trip since he launched the invasion of Ukraine in February. Unblocking Ukraine grain exports via the Black Sea was high on the agenda, Mr. Putin said, and progress has been made. The civil war in Syria was also discussed, with Turkey and Russia historically backing opposing sides. The summit was a chance for Mr. Putin to show he still has international allies. Speaking after his meeting with the Russian president, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said Tehran and Moscow should strengthen their ties and suggested that the West was to blame for the war in Ukraine. The US said the Russian leader's visit to Iran showed how isolated Russia has become in the wake of its invasion of Ukraine. Records have tumbled and firefighters faced new blazes as much of Western Europe baked in a grueling heatwave. The UK, normally used to milder climates, saw temperatures of more than 40 degrees Celsius for the first time. Germany saw its hottest day of the year so far, while Portugal raised its death toll after days of excess heat. Deadly wildfires have swept the continent. The UN's World Meteorological Organization warned there was worse to come. Heat waves have become more frequent and more intense and last longer because of human-induced climate change. Australia's environment is in a shocking state and faces further decline from amplifying threats, according to an anticipated report. The survey of Australia's ecological systems, conducted every 5 years, found widespread abrupt changes. These can be blamed on climate change, habitat loss, invasive species, polluting and mining, it said. The threats are not being adequately managed, meaning they are on track to cause more problems. Environment Minister Tanya Liebeck said the document paints a shocking and sometimes depressing story, vowing to implement new policies and laws. The 2,000-page State of the Environment report, commissioned by the government, found or reiterated all the data. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of world news and we move on to development news. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation will begin issuing diesel to customers from tomorrow, ending the long scarcity. According to sources, diesel distribution from fuel storages to filling stations has been carried out since yesterday. 2 shipments of diesel amounting to 70,000 metric tons reached the country and these consignments were unloaded. Therefore, the present scarcity of diesel will come to an end with the distribution of these consignments soon. A shipment containing 35,000 metric tons of petrol reached the country yesterday. Sample testing procedures were carried out yesterday by the CPC and with the issuance of quality certification. Unloading of the consignment will begin today, and once the unloading is done, the petrol will be sent to the filling stations soon. The Power and Energy Ministry sources said that it has been planned to issue petrol to customers from Friday, and that came to you in development news.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
Barcelona have signed Poland striker Robert Lewandowski from Bayern Munich on a 4-year contract worth 50 million euros. The 33-year-old had 1 year left on his contract with the German champions, but in May said, quote, "My story with Bayern is over," unquote. He has joined his new teammates in Miami as part of Barcelona's 4-match tour in the United States. That came to you in sports news. We look at business news next.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
After enjoying a long reign as king of streaming, Netflix faces a fight to keep its crown. The streaming giant lost nearly 1 million subscribers between April and July as an accelerating number of people quit the service. But that was not as many as the firm had feared, as the launch of a new season of hit drama Stranger Things helped the firm staunch the outflow. Netflix said it expected sign-up growth to restart later this year. The company reported its first subscriber loss since 2011 in April, news that was followed by hundreds of job cuts. Rivals are challenging its dominance, while price hikes have taken a toll. That concludes Business News. Economic News up next.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10-second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Economic News, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Regular pay is falling at the fastest rate since 2001 when taking into account rising prices, official figures show. Between March and May, pay excluding bonuses was down 2.8% from a year earlier when adjusted for inflation, the fastest drop since records began. Household budgets are being hit by soaring food, fuel and energy costs, with inflation at a 40-year high. Pay growth was much higher for the private sector than the public sector. That's Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on to the weather report. Cloudy skies are expected in the southern half of the island. Several spells of showers occur in the western, Sabragamo and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. Showers and thundershowers occur at several places elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places. Strong winds can be expected at times in the Galle and the Matara districts. And to conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. 3 candidates nominated for the post of the president. The vote will be held today. The Speaker said that he expects the support of all parties respecting democracy to successfully complete the parliamentary election. The Indian External Affairs Minister says Sri Lanka is facing a very serious crisis that makes India naturally worried. Top priority will be given to public transport in fuel distribution. Suspended postal services to 3 countries resumes. Putin visits Iran in rare international trip. And Barcelona signed Lewandowski for €50 million. And with that, we conclude this morning's news broadcast.